What's up, guys? We are back for another Marvel Legends review, and today we're taking a look at the final figure, finally, in this Sauron wave. I was finally able to track her down, and that, of course, is Wolverine X-23, and this is definitely a figure that I am very, very interested in. I love X-23 as a character. I'm not really familiar with her stint as Wolverine. It's, it's past my time for comics, but I dig this look. I think she looks very, very cool. And I'm really excited to finish building that Build-A-Figure. So we've got her here in our standard Marvel Legends box. You see her there in the window. We've got a very nicely cut up Wolverine logo, so it looks like she slashed through it. We've got artwork on the side, and then on the back we have got product shots, Build-A-Figure, lineup. You know the deal. It's Marvel Legends packaging. So let's pull her out and take a look. All right, guys, here she is out of the package, our Wolverine figure, and this is obviously the X-23 version of Wolverine, so, for the uninitiated, there you go. And if you're interested in grabbing one for yourself after this review, check out Big Bad Toy Store. You know the drill. I'll put a link down below. But this is one I was actually pretty interested to get a hold of, mostly because this wave is really weird. It's a very good / very bad wave for me, and this one kind of rides that line. There are some definite issues to talk about with this figure, but we are going to get right into it with articulation as usual. So let's check her out and see how she moves around. So as far as articulation goes, this is pretty standard stuff for a female Marvel Legends. I believe she's on the same body that the previous X-23 figure was. Based on what I can tell, they certainly look very similar, but they all really share very similar articulation schemes. So the head can rotate. She's got a big mess of hair, so that obviously is going to hit eventually. Up and down is very, very minimal. No real side to side. Arms go all the way out. They do rotate all the way around. No bicep swivel. Elbow swivel, though. Single joint at that elbow. We've got hinged and rotating wrists, so pretty standard stuff there. She does have a diaphragm joint, but it's pretty minimal. She goes back just a smidge. She goes forward a little bit and swivels. Nothing at the waist. Legs go out that far. They kick forward. They kick back. We've got a thigh cut. We've got double jointed knees, and then we've got a rocker as well as a hinge down at the ankle. So, it's pretty standard stuff for a Marvel Legends female. You're not missing anything. If you've played around with any one Marvel Legends female lately, you've pretty much got this body scheme down perfectly. So yeah, she moves, but she's rather limited. Now, as far as the looks on this figure go, I do think, in a general sense, she looks really cool. Until you get really close to it. And of course, I've only got my figure to use as the test, but I'm not sure this is unique to me. So we've mostly, obviously, got yellows and blues. So some plastic is cast in yellow, some is going to be cast in blue, whatever is the majority color, and then they paint over top of it. So we've got, like a yellow torso here with blue paint on it, but we've also got yellow paint on that torso as well. So there's just a bunch of thin, fuzzy lines. We've got really thin, patchy yellow, especially on the inner thighs here. This is painted over top of the blue. It almost looks like it's got a green hue to it because it doesn't have enough paint, so it doesn't match the inner thighs. We've got yellow on the ribbing of the boots. It's very just bad. It's just bad in general. This is not good. It's very, very dirty. The line work is very poor. And then we've got the yellow paint on the arms here, which is also very poor. It's very thinly applied. I've been saying that a lot lately with some of my figures, is that it looks like there needs to be another coat of paint on a lot of areas of certain figures, and this one is definitely no exception. The back is not so bad. It's okay. There's not a whole lot. We've got a little smudge here. There's not much. Mostly yellow cast on her backside of her torso there, but I like the way she looks, but I don't like the way it was done, I guess is the best way to say it, because I like this costume. I dig the boots especially. I really like those on her. We do, of course, being something special for this figure, we've got her toe claws. So, X-23 has 2 claws in her hands, and she's got 1 in each foot. We didn't get these on the first figure, and I thought at the time, yeah, that sounds like something I'd like to have. I'm not so sure it's implemented all that well. I honestly lost this one before I started this review, so I had to find it. So, they do come out. They are removable, so you could use them, but you'll have a hole in the foot, so I'm not sure if that's really what you want. These are also, just like all our other Wolverine figures so far, they are removable. These are the current kind of gray, silvery kind of plastic, not that white plastic we first had with Wolverine. So, it's okay. There's just definitely some problems with paint. We do have a floating brown belt here with the silver and red and black buckle there. And then we do, of course, have the head sculpt here, which I think is okay. I wish she had an expression going. Sometimes I like the stoic look, but in this case I don't. I think she needs to be gritting her teeth, kind of like the current Tiger Stripe Wolverine. I wish she had a bit of a more feral or just angry expression. I do really dig the windswept look on the hair, though. It's different from how the previous X-23 looks. It's the same type of idea, windswept going to her left, but it's just different. It's a different sculpt. I like it. It looks really nice. There's a lot of sculpted detail, a lot of curly texture in there. The paint on the face is okay. It suffers the same kind of splotchiness and just general bad line work, though. So yeah, like, I like the idea of this figure, but in terms of how she looks, there just seems to be some sloppiness going on with this figure in particular compared to all the other ones that I've had in this wave so far. And just for the sake of comparison, because we can, we've got both X-23 Wolverine figures here. So we've got our current one, obviously, and we've got our X-Force X-23. And I do believe that these are on the same, or at least a very, very similar body, at least for the most part. Obviously the boots are different, and the heads are obviously different, but I really wish, like I mentioned before, that she had an expression like this. I really think that brings this figure to life a little more. Neither of them are amazing figures by any capacity, but I do think I like this one better. I'm a sucker for X-Force anyway. I've said that a number of times, and I also know more about this particular costume and this particular version of her, but I just think that something about this head and the paintwork and everything else, it just kind of dumbs her down a bit and brings her down a level, and I still would prefer this one. Now, as far as accessories go, we do get we get an extra head sculpt with this figure, and this is obviously an unmasked head, and in general I think it's actually pretty solid, but I do have one gripe, and that comes down to the fact that I think it's a little too big. It just does not look like it fits this particular body all that well. This is a very, very small, slim body, and this head with that hair sculpted all over it, it looks slightly oversized. Not much. We're not talking the Eddie Brock head on the Venom figure by any means, but it is noticeably large to me. Beyond that, though, I think it looks really solid. I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's sculpted well. I think it's painted really well. I like the way the hair lays. I like the fact that it's not the exact same windswept look that we get with the masked head. I like that it's different. She looks a little more serious here. And it just looks good. If the only real downside for me personally is that, you know, I just think it's a little big. So overall, I am middle of the road with this figure, I guess. Compared to the 3 Deadpools that we got, I still like her because, you know, I'm just so tired of those Deadpools, and they've just really hammered those too much in this particular wave, but she's not as good as Bishop, and she's not as good as Omega Red. I like the idea of her costume. I like that she looks cool, but when you get really close, you can see a lot of those paint imperfections, which really, really pull me back and take me out of the enjoyment factor of this figure. The extra head I do think is nice. I do think it is slightly oversized, of course, like I did mention. And in general, I'm not going to use it, though, I don't think. I'm not too sure that that's ever going to happen. I'm always up for having the mask on the figures, but I might take some pics with it. Beyond that, though, she's okay. You know, she's definitely going to be middle of the pack for me. I'd love to know if people who already have her, do you have the same kind of paint issues that I do? Do you have the same sloppiness with the yellows and the blues and the line work and stuff that just really takes you out of this particular figure? Let me know. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Wolverine X-23 figure from Hasbro. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.